Hi, I'm Jane Reardon. Welcome to Reimagining Law. Today, I'm joined by Kevin O'Keefe, the CEO and founder of LexBlog. LexBlog is a platform for over 30,000 legal bloggers. Kevin, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Before we jump in, I'd like to remind our viewers to like this video and subscribe to our channels for new episodes. So Kevin, let's start with the basics. Why should lawyers start a blog?
Well, no one has to start a blog. Lawyers do so for different reasons. They do so to become better lawyers because they're more apt to focus on niches, read more, network with other leading lawyers in their field. There's other lawyers that are going to do so to develop business. As a younger lawyer, you may want to put yourself in a position where you don't have to worry about where you get your work and how you support your family. I also think there's the opportunity to contribute to the advancement of the law. More insight and commentary in the law is being published on legal blogs than is being published on law reviews and law journals today. And so it's a society that's evolving law faster than we ever have before. It's a lawyer's opportunity to do so.
Be on the cutting edge, yeah. What are some of the best practices for blogging? If someone's just getting started, what should they be doing? What should they look for?
I think the most important is to realize that a blog is the unedited voice of a person. It's not 18 or 20 people publishing a publication unless you're really going to knock dead in that field. You're really going to be the go-to publication. Unedited voice of a person is to mean that you talk like who you are. And even more importantly, like that is you listen before you talk. Blogging is like walking into a room full of authorities in your niche, because your niche is really important. You don't blog on a broad subject. You may not even blog on family law. You might blog on visitation. You might blog on custody in your town. But it's like walking into a room with other people that have an interest in that subject that are talking about as authority, listening to what they have to say, referencing what they have to say, so they'll hear you. And by virtue of that, they'll start to reference what you're saying. So your stature is growing, relationships are growing. And imagine your potential client pool and the influencers, reporters, and other bloggers, authorities in the field are seeing you.
So what are some of the things that lawyers should not do when they're blogging?
I would say, I don't know what it is, 25 or 30% are acting unethically when they blog. They're having somebody else write their content, and then they're holding their blog out there as if they wrote the content. That's misleading, and you can't mislead when you're arguably doing advertising. And there's no discussion about it. If someone else is writing your content, you bought your content from a marketing person, they're putting it up in your name, the public is presuming that that's you that wrote the content. So there's a lot of lawyers that think differently. They think, hey, it's okay if I do that. Well, they're incorrect. So you don't act unethically. You focus on that niche. You just nail that niche. You focus on an area that you would love to do. What would I love to do if I had a magic wand and I could wave it and make it happen? And who would I love to represent? And then recognize that that listening component. How do I set up the listening? How do I use a device like Feedly? How do I use Twitter less? Because it's those things that are important. It's not sitting down to write content with a blank slate.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're saying don't just develop some content and throw it out there, be more targeted, listen. So how do you focus on would-be clients or the people you want to get your content in front of?
So let's say I want to do an estate planning through blogging, and I'm going to do that in Rockford, Illinois. And so I'm going to follow what the people in Rockford, Illinois are writing that are financial planners. I'm going to follow their blogs to see if there's any of those. I'm going to follow leading financial planning blogs around the country. I'm going to follow words that relate to financial planning inside Feedly. What are the magical words, the particular types of trust and whatnot? I'm going to see things that other people are not. And by me starting to offer my insight, I saw this. This is why I'm sharing it with you. Here's what it means. I'm going to get known. And if I reference the people who I'm citing, they're going to see me. And so I'm doing things that other people aren't. So another lawyer that's doing estate planning in Rockford could be putting up all this wonderful content, and it's okay, it's of value. But are they referencing the people that are going to begin to write about her or him? And if you start to get referenced by other people, and those people are authorities, your stature rises. And if I reference somebody in a blog post and I share it on Twitter and I give a little hat tip to them, they see it. And if that person's an authority, they might start to follow me. They might start to share what I'm sharing.
Right. So you're making connections with people, you're making connections between different types of content. Is that more important today than when you started writing about blogging 15 or 20 years ago, do you think?
Sometimes I think it's not, and sometimes I think it is. I think it is because this is how people connect to the world. They connect to the world this way. If I were a lawyer living in the area where I live at, I would make sure I'm very active on the Facebook group, because I would be helping people when it comes to, is there a soccer game at this field tonight? Is this thing going on in the neighborhood? I would get known because I'm a nice person helping other people. And by virtue of that, people might start to look up the fact that I'm a practicing lawyer at the same time. That never happened before.
Right.
And the other reason it's more important is, just take a look at the news within the last week. LegalZoom is going to hire lawyers in Arizona. Within about 15 years, you're going to see LegalZooms around like Petco's. And where are people going to go for legal services? They're going to go to those places. And it's not because lawyers are bad. It's just that LegalZoom made themselves more accessible. They made themselves relevant. Where lawyers are trying really, really hard to connect with people, they're not connecting with people where they need to connect with them on a device.
Yeah, very interesting. So it sounds like you're seeing in the legal marketing space, this is just going to increase over time, the need for connections via the internet.
Yeah, I think, Wisconsin bar is studying how do we get lawyers in the rural areas. You don't need to get them in the rural areas. You need to have them blogging about issues that are going on in those communities. So if somebody's in Madison, why can't they blog of issues relevant to people in Rhinelander, and reference people in the Rhinelander business community, or whatever it might be, and then be available to hook up on the net.
Yeah. It sounds like you're saying be relevant, be personal,
Mm-hmm.
and can really make a difference. Sounds great.
It works.
Yes, it does. So thank you very much, Kevin O'Keefe, for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time today. Please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on new episodes. That's all for today. Thank you and be well.